British engineering once ruled the world, and nowhere was that more clear than on the farm. In the 1970s, Britain's tractor builders were fearless, pushing power, design, and innovation to the limit. Some models changed farming forever. Others became mechanical legends for their strength, speed, and style. They weren't just machines, they were statements of what Britain could build. Today we're diving into 10 British tractors from the 70s that made headlines, from unstoppable workhorses to groundbreaking beasts that still turn heads 50 years later. Number 1. Massey Ferguson, 135, 1964 to 1975. The Massey Ferguson 135 is perhaps the most iconic British tractor of its era, a machine that defined reliability, simplicity, and accessibility for farmers across Britain and beyond. Introduced in 1964 and produced until 1975, the MF135 was part of the 100 series, which included models like the MF148 and MF165, but it was the 135 that truly captured hearts. Powered by a 2.5-liter, 3-cylinder Perkins 83.152 diesel engine producing around 45 horsepower, the tractor offered the perfect balance of power and efficiency for small to medium-sized farms during the 1970s. It was also available with petrol and continental diesel options, but the Perkins engine became the gold standard due to its fuel economy and longevity. The MF135's success stemmed from its no-nonsense engineering. The design featured a straightforward 6-speed gearbox, later upgraded to an 8-speed with the optional multi-power system that allowed instant high-low range shifting without clutching. Its hydraulic system, derived from the legendary Ferguson system, provided precise control over implements, making it ideal for plowing, harrowing, and cultivation. Farmers loved its easy maintenance. The MF135 could be serviced with basic tools and parts readily available even in remote rural areas. Beyond technical brilliance, the 135 symbolized a cultural shift in British farming. During the late 1960s and 1970s, when mechanization was accelerating, the 135 became the tractor of choice for family farms transitioning from animal labor to machinery. It wasn't the most powerful, but it was dependable, economical, and versatile. Many MF135s were exported worldwide, from Africa to Asia, strengthening Britain's global agricultural reputation. Even today, countless 135s remain operational, a testament to their durability. It's no exaggeration to say the Massey Ferguson 135 didn't just make headlines, it became part of British farming folklore. Number 2. Massey Ferguson 165. The Massey Ferguson 165 was the larger and more powerful sibling to the legendary MF1. While the 135 served smaller farms, the 165 catered to farmers who needed more horsepower for heavy tillage and larger implements. Produced between 1964 and 1975, it was powered by a Perkins A4.212 or A4.236 four-cylinder diesel engine, generating around 60 to 67 horsepower, enough to handle more demanding fieldwork while retaining the ease of operation Massey Ferguson was known for. One of the standout features of the 165 was its multi-power transmission, which effectively doubled the number of working gears. This gave operators better control when transitioning between field and road work or when tackling varied soil conditions. Its hydraulic system, again using the Ferguson 3-point linkage, allowed for smooth and precise lifting and lowering of implements, which greatly increased productivity. Massey Ferguson also offered comfort upgrades, including improved seat suspension and optional safety cabs in compliance with 1970s UK safety laws. The MF165 became a common sight on British farms throughout the decade. Its combination of power, versatility, and rugged construction made it suitable for plowing large fields, baling hay, or running belt-driven machinery. Farmers praised its balance between size and performance. It was large enough for heavy work yet compact enough for transport and yard duties. The design also maintained a timeless appeal, simple, boxy, and painted in the recognizable red and gray livery. Globally, the 165 was a commercial success, exported to over 100 countries. For many, It symbolized the golden age of British tractor manufacturing, when reliability met practicality. Even decades later, many MF-165s still operate as utility tractors or collector's items. In the 1970s, when horsepower was rapidly becoming the benchmark for progress, the Massey Ferguson 165 stood as proof that intelligent engineering could be both powerful and practical, a true British workhorse that made headlines for all the right reasons. Number 3. Ford 5000, 1964 to 1975. The Ford 5000 was the tractor that brought Ford into the big leagues of British agriculture. Produced at Ford's Basildon plant in Essex, the 5000 arrived in 1964 and remained in production until 1975. It was part of Ford's 1000 series lineup, bridging the gap between the smaller 3000 and the heavy-duty 7000. The tractor's robust 3.6-liter three-cylinder diesel engine produced around 70 horsepower, an impressive figure for a mid-range tractor at the time. The 5000's design embodied Ford's philosophy of power for the farmer. Its strong rear-end, reliable hydraulic system, and multiple transmission options made it incredibly versatile. Farmers could choose between standard 8-speed and the more advanced 10 or 12-speed versions, and by 1974 Ford introduced its groundbreaking dual power system. This system effectively doubled the number of available speeds, allowing operators to instantly shift between high and low ranges under load, a huge advantage in the field. The 5000 also adopted Ford's new safety cab designs in the early 1970s, meeting stricter regulations and offering better operator comfort. One of the Ford 5000's claims to fame was its role in the famous Doe 130, a twin-engine tractor created by Ernest Doe & Sons by coupling two Ford 5000 units together to deliver a staggering 130 horsepower. This innovation captured headlines and underscored the tractor's strength and adaptability. For farmers across Britain, the 5000 became synonymous with reliability and toughness. It was equally at home pulling plows, powering balers, or transporting loads across muddy fields. The Ford 5000 also found success abroad, solidifying the Basildon plant's reputation as a hub of tractor excellence. Even after production ended, its legacy continued in Ford's 6600 series. For many British farmers, owning a Ford 5000 was a matter of pride, a tractor that could handle anything thrown at it, day after day. In the 1970s, it wasn't just another machine, it was a symbol of British engineering confidence. Number 4. David Brown, 1410, 1974. The David Brown 1410 was a turning point for the Yorkshire-based manufacturer. Introduced in December 1974, the 1410 marked David Brown's entry into the turbocharged era. Its 3.6-liter four-cylinder engine produced an impressive 91 horsepower, making it one of the most powerful tractors ever built by the company. For a firm known for reliability and smooth operation, the 1410 was proof that David Brown could compete in the growing horsepower race of the 1970s. The tractor was instantly recognizable by its modern styling and bold red and white livery. Inside, it featured the luxurious Q-cab, quiet cab, designed to meet the new safety and noise regulations introduced in Britain during the decade. This cab provided exceptional visibility, sound insulation, and comfort, a far cry from the open-air tractors of the 1960s. The 1410 also came equipped with a 12-speed transmission, power steering, and improved hydraulics, giving operators more control and less fatigue during long working days. What made the 1410 stand out, however, was its turbocharger. This innovation not only boosted power, but also improved fuel efficiency, a major advantage during the oil crisis of the 1970s. Farmers could now pull larger implements with less fuel consumption, which was crucial as farm sizes and workloads increased. The 1410's reputation grew quickly as a dependable, high-performance tractor for demanding operations like heavy plowing and cultivation. The model also played a strategic role in maintaining David Brown's market presence against giants like Massey Ferguson and Ford. Although the company's tractor division was later sold to Case, the 1410 remains one of the finest tractors ever produced under the David Brown name. It was more than a machine, it represented a blend of tradition and innovation. In an age when British engineering was under pressure, the 1410 proudly proved that British-made tractors could still headline with power and class. Number 5. David Brown, 1212, Hydra Shift 1971. The David Brown 1212 was one of the most technically advanced tractors of its time, and the Hydra Shift version made it legendary. Introduced in 1971, this model was powered by a 3.6-liter four-cylinder diesel engine producing around 72 horsepower. But it wasn't the engine that made it famous, it was the revolutionary Hydra Shift transmission system. This system allowed operators to shift through 4 speeds under load without clutching, providing a total of 12 forward gears. For farmers used to constant clutching, this was a game-changer. The Hydra Shift transmission worked through hydraulic clutches that engaged sequentially to deliver seamless gear changes. The result was smoother operation, reduced operator fatigue, and improved productivity. It was one of the first power shift systems in the UK market, beating many global manufacturers in adopting such technology. The 1212 also came with independent PTO, power steering, and optional cab designs that improved comfort and safety, all features that positioned it as a premium tractor for serious farmers. Aesthetically, the 1212 carried David Brown's signature styling: clean lines, white body panels, and red accents. The later models even featured the advanced Q-cab, which provided noise reduction and compliance with the 1976 safety regulations. Beyond looks, the 1212's hydraulic system was top class, offering precise control for implements, making it ideal for cultivation, drilling, and mowing. What truly made the 1212 headline-worthy was its innovation. In an industry often resistant to change, David Brown took a bold step toward automation. Farmers who adopted the Hydra Shift model enjoyed unprecedented control and convenience, giving them a competitive edge. Even today, vintage collectors regard the 1212 Hydra Shift as a marvel of British ingenuity. It stood as proof that David Brown, though a smaller manufacturer, could compete technologically with giants like Ford and Massey Ferguson. Its mix of engineering brilliance and practicality ensured it a lasting place in tractor history. Number 6. International Harvester 574. The International Harvester 574 was a symbol of dependable, no-nonsense engineering that captured the spirit of British farming in the 1970s. Built at International Harvester's Doncaster factory, the 574 was introduced at the 1970 Smithfield Show and became one of IH's most successful utility tractors. It replaced the older B414 and 434 series, combining the rugged simplicity of earlier models with modern advancements in power, comfort, and reliability. At its heart was a robust 3.9-liter four-cylinder diesel engine that produced around 67 horsepower, plenty for mid-sized farms of the era. A petrol version was also available for export markets, but in the UK, the diesel was king. The engine's low-end torque was exceptional, making it ideal for plowing heavy clay soils and operating implements like rotavators, balers, and loaders. The tractor featured an 8-speed gearbox with a high-low range, and later models included a 2-speed torque amplifier power shift, allowing seamless shifts under load, a feature that gave it an edge over many competitors. The 574 was also praised for its comfort and ergonomics. Its semi-flat operator platform, power steering, and optional fully enclosed cab made it far more comfortable than the earlier open platform designs. With growing emphasis on safety, IH also offered the 574 with a rollover protection structure ROPs, meeting new UK regulations for operator protection. What made the 574 stand out was its reliability. Farmers across Britain lauded its ability to run for thousands of hours with minimal maintenance. The Doncaster-built models were especially valued because they used high-quality British steel and benefited from IH's global expertise in agricultural machinery. The tractor's simplicity meant it could be serviced easily, with spare parts widely available across the country. The 574 also played a strategic role for International Harvester in Britain. It helped the company maintain its presence in the highly competitive UK market, dominated by Massey Ferguson and Ford. The model's blend of durability, affordability, and comfort made it an instant favorite. Even decades later, the 574 remains a beloved classic among collectors, not because it was flashy or overpowered, but because it did everything a tractor needed to do, with quiet excellence. In many ways, it embodied the very essence of 1970s British practicality. Number 7. County 1454. If one tractor could represent brute British power in the 1970s, it was the County 1454, built by County Commercial Cars Limited of Fleet, Hampshire. The 1454 was the epitome of rugged engineering. Derived from the Ford 9000 chassis, it featured a massive Ford 6-cylinder diesel engine, producing around 145 horsepower, an extraordinary figure for the time. It was a four-wheel drive monster, designed for heavy pulling and extreme conditions where ordinary tractors would struggle. County was already famous for converting Ford tractors into 4WD machines, but the 1454 took things to an entirely new level. With its distinctive square bonnet, huge front differential, and wide stance, the tractor looked as tough as it performed. Farmers who saw one in action were often astonished by its raw pulling capability. It was built for deep plowing, forestry work, and large-scale contracting operations where traction and torque were everything. The 1440-54 time 4WD system that distributed power equally to both axles. It had enormous lug tires, heavy-duty axles, and a reinforced transmission capable of handling extreme loads. Its power steering and hydraulic system made maneuvering such a large machine surprisingly easy, while the optional cab provided comfort during long workdays. County engineers emphasized balance and stability, ensuring that despite its power, the 1454 remained controllable even on difficult terrain. What made the County 1454 headline-worthy was not just its performance, but also its exclusivity. Only around 225 units were ever produced, making it one of the rarest and most collectible British tractors today. At the time, however, it was regarded as the pinnacle of homegrown power, a British-built giant that could rival imported American and European machines in both performance and quality. For large-scale arable farmers, owning a County 1454 was a statement of prestige. Decades later, enthusiasts still revere the 1454 for its design and power. It represents the peak of County's engineering before the company eventually ceased production in the 1980s. When people speak of 1970s tractors that made headlines, the County 1454 always commands a place, not only because of its rarity, but because it embodied the fearless innovation that defined British machinery at its best. Number 8. County 1164. Before the 1454, County tractors had already captured the attention of the farming world with the smaller but equally innovative County 1164. Produced between 1971 and 1976, the 1164 was one of the first four-wheel drive tractors available to medium-sized British farms, a major leap forward in traction technology during a time when 2WD dominated the fields. Based on the Ford 5000, the 1164 offered around 120 horsepower, an impressive figure that gave it both power and flexibility. County's genius lay in its engineering simplicity. By converting proven Ford chassis into 4WD systems using equal-sized front and rear wheels and heavy-duty drivetrains, County delivered unmatched traction and pulling strength. The 1164 was a full-time 4WD tractor with robust double-drive axles, allowing it to work efficiently in muddy, hilly, or wet terrains that would immobilize most conventional tractors. This made it particularly popular in the wet climates of the UK and Ireland, where traction loss was a constant problem. Power came from Ford's reliable 6-cylinder diesel engine, providing not only torque but excellent fuel efficiency. The 1164 used a manual transmission with multiple gear ranges, allowing for precise control in different field conditions. Its hydraulic system supported a wide variety of implements, and its strong chassis meant it could handle loaders and heavy-duty attachments with ease. County also offered optional enclosed cabs, which were beginning to become standard by the mid-1970s due to safety regulations. What truly made the 1164 remarkable was its versatility. It wasn't just a field tractor. It was used in forestry, construction, and haulage as well. Many farmers described it as unstoppable, and it gained a reputation for reliability under the harshest conditions. The 1164's introduction represented a pivotal moment in British farming, when 4WD was transitioning from experimental to essential, though only a few hundred were produced. The 1164 helped pave the way for the modern 4WD systems that became standard in tractors by the 1980s. Its influence stretched beyond its production years, symbolizing how British engineers working with limited resources could innovate their way into the future. The County 1164 didn't just make headlines, it changed the way British farmers thought about power and traction forever. Number 9. Roadless 115. The Roadless 115 was another powerful expression of British engineering from the early 1970s, built by Roadless Traction Limited, a company best known for converting Ford tractors into four-wheel drive powerhouses. The 115 was based on the Ford 5000, but heavily modified to create a tractor capable of tackling the most challenging terrains. Producing around 115 horsepower, it combined brute strength with reliability, becoming a favorite among farmers who needed something tougher than the average two-wheel drive tractor. Roadless' approach was simple yet effective. By fitting a unique front drive axle and heavy-duty transfer case, they transformed Ford's dependable tractors into 4WD beasts. The Roadless 115 team benefited from this expertise, featuring permanent four-wheel drive, enhanced stability, and improved traction. It could pull heavier implements and work in deep mud, steep hills, or wet pastures where standard tractors would sink. Farmers in regions like Wales and Scotland, known for uneven terrain, particularly loved it. The tractor's transmission was smooth and versatile, offering a wide range of gears for different operations. Its three-cylinder or four-cylinder Ford diesel engine provided both torque and fuel economy. The Roadless 115 also boasted excellent hydraulic performance, with the capacity to operate loaders, plows, and forestry equipment. Optional safety cabs were introduced in line with 1970s regulations, giving operators protection and comfort for long hours of work. Despite its performance, the Roadless 115 was produced in small numbers, approximately 225 units, making it a rare and sought-after model today. It was expensive compared to standard Ford tractors, which limited its audience to large farms and contractors. However, those who owned one knew it was built like a tank. The machine's resilience and capability earned it the nickname the Mountain Climber among enthusiasts. In the 1970s, when Britain was still proud of its homegrown machinery, the Roadless 115 represented independence and innovation. It showed that small British manufacturers could compete with the giants by focusing on quality and specialization. Today, restored Roadless 115s fetch high prices among collectors, standing as monuments to a golden age when British tractor makers dared to push the limits of design and performance. Number 10. International Harvester B250, 1959 to 1963. Though technically introduced in the late 1950s, the International Harvester B250 remained a common and celebrated tractor throughout the 1970s in Britain. Built at IH's Doncaster factory between 1959 and 1963, the B250 was a compact utility tractor that continued to play a vital role on smaller farms for decades after its production ended. Its reputation for reliability, simplicity, and versatility ensured it was still making headlines well into the 70s. Powered by a 2.5-liter four-cylinder diesel engine producing around 28 horsepower, the B250 was not designed for brute strength but rather for dependability and economy. Its low-speed torque made it ideal for plowing small fields, mowing, and general yard work. It featured a 6-speed transmission with smooth shifting and a robust hydraulic lift system, simple yet efficient for the typical family farm of the mid-20th century. What made the B250 special was its accessibility. It was affordable, easy to operate, and inexpensive to maintain, which made it the perfect entry-level tractor for many British farmers transitioning from horses or older machinery. It was also widely used by local councils, small contractors, and orchard owners, because of its compact size and maneuverability. Many of these tractors remained in operation well into the 1970s, a testament to their longevity and build quality. The B250 was also one of the first British tractors to feature an independent power takeoff, PTO, and position control on the hydraulics. Significant innovations at the time. These features allowed greater flexibility when using a range of implements. Its reliability earned it a strong following. And even after newer models like the 434 and 574 replaced it, the B250 continued to serve loyally across rural Britain. By the 1970s, many farmers viewed the B250 as a trusted old friend, proof that simple engineering could stand the test of time. It wasn't the most powerful or modern tractor, but it had earned its place in history through years of hard work and durability. For a generation of British farmers, the IHB250 was the little tractor that could, and did, make headlines for decades. Decades have passed, but their engines still echo through the British countryside. The Massey Fergusons that built the nation's farms, the Fords that powered a new generation of progress, the David Browns, counties and roadless machines that proved British craftsmanship could outwork, outlast, and outshine the competition. These tractors weren't just about horsepower, they were about heart. Every scratch, every dent, every puff of smoke tells a story of a time when farming was raw, real, and proudly British. And though factories have closed and brands have changed, the spirit of these 1970s legends still lives on, in every plowed field, every vintage rally, and every farmer who remembers what true engineering felt like. If you enjoyed this journey into Britain's mechanical past, smash that like button, subscribe for more vintage machine history, and tell us in the comments which 70s tractor do you think deserves the crown? Because in the world of tractors, legends never die. They just keep on pulling.